So close but no cigar, right? And maybe next year, okay? So we saw that Pro Football Focus had their top 50 players in the NFL, and it was disheartening to see no Falcons on that list. Every other team was represented, even the bad teams were represented on the list, but no Falcons were on the list. And we've invested so much capital into the Pitts and the Londons and all these guys that we have. There's certainly got to be somebody on the Falcons that could have broken through the top 50. Lindstrom's obviously, one of the best interior offensive linemen in the NFL. Maybe he got jobbed. Maybe AJ Terrell should have been on that list. But again, the fact, and by the way, Pro Football Focus, they love Kyle Pitts and Drake London and all these. They love AJ Terrell. They love these guys. It isn't like it's a bias that sometimes creeps into. Pro Football Focus really likes these guys. So they put out their latest article where they're talking about 10 rookies and second-year players who could make the list in 2024. And Sam Monson was the guy who put together the top 50 list, but he has as the number one guy on his list as far as rookies or second-year players who can make the list potentially next year. He's got running back Bijan Robinson. Here's what he says about Robinson. Quote, by far the best rookie candidate to make this list. Robinson entered the draft hailed as one of the best running back prospects to come along in years, perhaps as far back as Adrian Peterson in 2007. He went to the run-heaviest team in football in Atlanta. So expectation should be that he contends for the rushing crown right out of the gate. Now, I don't know about all of that, but okay. If Robinson can achieve that and potentially showcase some of the skills in the passing game, it will be difficult not to buy into that hype and keep him off the list. So I understand. Okay. So will Robinson contend for the rushing title? Maybe. Again, I'm not putting that expectation on Bijan Robinson. And look, Arthur Smith and the Falcons rookies and stuff like that, they don't want to have those kinds of expectations. Just again, they work their rookies in sort of slow, right? We saw Algier, who ran for 1,000 yards, but he only had 7 starts. We saw Richie Grant only play about 20% of the snaps in his rookie year. Again, Ebiketie only had 1 start. That's the guy we're counting on to start off the edge and go get 10 sacks for us. And he made 1 start last year. And it wasn't like he had, Lawrence Taylor or, somebody like that in front of him. He had a bunch of vagabonds in front of him, right? So, again, could Bijan Robinson have the breakout year of all breakout years and all this, that, and the other? Absolutely. And we're counting on. I mean, that's part of how we're going to get ourselves good, right? Is guys like Bijan Robinson really step up, and whether it's in the rookie year or second year guys or what have you. Now, again, do I think that he's going to contend for the rushing title? I don't think that's going to be the case. And I think that Algier and Bijan Robinson will share carries. I don't think Algier is going to go from 210 carries down to 60 carries. And I don't think that Bijan Robinson is going to have 350, 400 carries. So they're going to give both of those guys, plus Cordero Patterson, in the mix as well. We saw that Caleb Huntley got cut for medical reasons and all that kind of stuff. But again, Cordero Patterson, is still going to get some touches and some carries. They're going to factor him into the offense. And Ritter's going to have some carries, on his own. But it's not like Robinson's going to carry it 400 times. And it's not like Tyler Algier is going to carry it 50 times. There's going to be that balance that mixes in to our offense. And I do think that they will throw it a little bit more than what they did this year. Not a staggering amount. I still don't think that they get to over 450 pass attempts, but I think the number was 413 or something like that last year. Very low 400s. I think that kind of creeps its way up a little bit where they maybe throw it a couple of more times a game. Still not going to be a pass-happy offense. Still not going to just chuck it all over the field like they did with Matt Ryan once he got into the groove and stuff. But again, could Robinson be the most likely candidate to go on this list next year? I guess. I mean, how do you if Lindstrom has one more year like he had last year, and he's a second, let's say he's another second team All Pro, how do you leave a guy off the list that's been 2-time second team All Pro, all rookie team, and are arguably the best interior offensive lineman in the NFL? Now, how do you leave a guy like that off if for a third year, right? AJ Terrell, if he has that kind of bounce back season. Again, they love AJ Terrell. I could definitely see AJ Terrell being on that list next year. So we obviously have a lot of candidates. And obviously, when it comes to rookies and first-year guys, look, I would love for Bijan Robinson. Again, I like the player. I didn't like the positional pick of him. But I recognize that he's a tremendous player. And look, at some point, we've got to have these guys that dominate the league, right? And unfortunately, I'd love it to be pass rush, but if we drafted tight ends and running backs and wide receivers, okay, then I got to have them dominate on the offensive side of the football. So again, could Bijan Robinson be the breakout rookie of the season? And he's already, I think, the odds favorite to win offensive rookie of the year? Absolutely. I mean, again, I hope for all of that. We're not going to get good if guys like Bijan Robinson are just kind of midland players. We're not going to get good if Drake London and Kyle Pitts are just kind of midland kind of guys. So we'll see. I mean, obviously, we got a long way to go, in this season. And obviously, you hope for health first and foremost, okay? No matter what his production is, stay healthy. That's the first thing that I hope for, okay? And then we'll evaluate what his production is and how good he is and whether he catches the football a lot, whether he runs the football, whatever. We'll evaluate it then. I don't necessarily agree with some of Pro Football Focus's ideas about whether he can contend for the rushing title. Okay, again, that's a correlation that I understand, but if you know the Falcons, you know that he's going to break down carries for everybody. Again, it's not like Bijan Robinson is going to tote the rock 400 times in this offense. It'll be divided among other people and stuff like that. They'll be run heavy, and they probably will be, again, the only team in the league that called more run plays than pass plays like they were last year. But I don't necessarily know how that would translate into Bijan Robinson having a massive workload. They work their rookies in. They'll balance them out. They make sure that they don't hit that sort of rookie wall that rookies hit in all sports. But again, I'm hoping that Bijan Robinson is a candidate because at some point we have to have top 50 level players. At some point, we have to have guys that are on the top 50 if we're going to have a successful franchise. Who do you think dominates the list? The Cincinnatis and the Kansas Cities and the Eagles okay, where are those teams at? Oh, they're at the elite level. Oh, okay. Maybe that correlates to if I have elite level talent, maybe that converts into we get, have one of the elite level teams and pick up a whole bunch of wins. So I'm hopeful for Robinson. Let's see what happens. But certainly I would love to see him on a list like this next year. All right, as you go in and make Hittin' Hard your first listen, be sure to go on whatever podcast platform that you're listening on and leave us a comment in the section that you are an everyday listener to the program. So we like to call them our everydayers. And we do thank you so much for being a part of our community and being a part of the show every single day. So let us know that you're an everydayer, as we like to call them, that you listen in to the show 5 days a week.